Welcome back to my channel, all of you. This video is for all those people who are awaiting their joining to the B schools. Either you have got calls already or you are awaiting calls, but you're sure that you would be joining and starting off your MBA somewhere by end of June. This means that you have almost 2 to 2.5 months with you. It's April 15th right now, and most colleges start off by mid of June or the end of June. In this 2.5 months, you can spend your time judiciously and get prepared for your MBA, which you're looking forward to for the next 2 years. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through 10 most important aspects that you can look at while you're preparing, and I'm going to leave a lot of links beneath this video in the description area. Please feel free to click on those and go to the resources. Also, as we go along, I'm going to discuss a lot of things that you can probably work with and start off as you go about preparing for yourself. And if you have any doubts regarding those and you need any further assistance with that, you can feel free to get back to me on the comments and I'll be glad to help you out. So the first and the foremost you can look forward to preparing right now, and if you are especially an engineer, is to learn basic accounting. Now, why is basic accounting so important? Because in the first term of your course in MBA, almost every single college starts off with managerial accounting, and in the managerial accounting part, it will be assumed that you already know the basics of accounting, which means nobody is going to teach you what is a ledger, what is a journal, what is trial balance, and probably your class is going to start straight with profit and loss account and balance sheet, where you're going to look at the financial reports. So it becomes all the more important for people who have had no exposure whatsoever to accounting to brush up and learn a bit of basic accounting. So when you sit in the first term in your class, you don't find lost about what is happening in this class. So what do you mean by basic accounting? So basic accounting includes what is debit, what is credit. Most of the BCom students and people who have already done commerce, either in their graduation or before that, would understand what's debit and what is credit. But for a person who is starting afresh and who is an engineer who has never encountered accounting, it's important to know that. I also want you to spend a bit of time to understand the various reports. You have balance sheets, profit and loss account, cash flow statements, fund flow statements, etc. That you come across when you go through accounting. Also learn the basics of bookkeeping, which is how to make a journal, how to make a ledger, why are journals and ledgers made, what is the trial balance all about, how do you make a profit and loss account, what are the different heads of a profit and loss account, what is the balance sheet. So these are the things that you can spend time on. You can even try making few journals, ledgers, try to tally a trial balance, try to make a profit and loss account, so you know what goes into making these making these books, and what is there in the reports like a profit and loss account or a balance sheet. Similar to your basic accounting part is your economics. A lot of us have never learned economics in our school or college, especially engineering students, a lot of them. Why is this important? Because in your first term, you're going to have a microeconomics course, and in your second year, you're going to have a macroeconomic course. So, which means you need to be having a basic idea of both these areas of economics. I would say start off with microeconomics. A good place to start would be the NCERT book of 11th and 12th. Understand what microeconomics is all about, because it will also add a lot of value when you are looking at microeconomics and studying microeconomics, because the next term you're going to also look at macroeconomics. But having said that, I want you to also brush up a bit of macroeconomics. What is macroeconomics all about, and various things that you're going to learn in macroeconomics. Have a familiarity with it, will be very helpful. So micro and macroeconomics is the second part that we are dealing here, and this is also important from the perspective of understanding what is going on in this country, and when you are talking about economics in general, this would be really helpful. Third is to learn statistics. So statistics involves measures of central tendency, measures of dispersion, which most of us have done in our school days. But for people who have not done maths after 12th, I would suggest you to go through basic statistics only. You don't have to go and learn everything that is mentioned here. But for people who have already done some of these things, it will be a good idea to brush them up. Now, if you have not done this before, don't worry, because anyway, you are going to go into the classroom and there is a professor who's going to teach you all this. But if you have already done this in your engineering, or probably you are a BSc mathematics student who have gone through this before, or a statistics student who has already done quite a lot of what you're going to do in your quantitative methods class in the first term and the second term, I would suggest you to brush that up, because that'll make life easy for you when you're there. You are not going to learn the whole thing all over again. When you sit in the class, it will be very, very familiar for you as to what is being taken in the class. Fourth, reading books. You have 2 months time, pick up a nice book, something that adds value to your MBA, and that will help you understand a bit more about management. It may help you understand a bit more about probably this country, bit more about various functions of management. So I've chosen few books here which you find being recommended in the B school. Some of these books are from the area of finance, some of them from operations, and then there is some books from marketing management. So one of the books that a lot of students have told me that they found very helpful reading before going for an MBA is the No Fear Finance. Especially if you have not done finance before, you are an engineering student getting into finance and wanting to do finance, No Fear Finance is a great book to have. Similar to this, you have a book on economics, which is Day-to-Day Economics by Satish Deodhar. Satish Deodhar was a professor who taught me economics while I was in college and while I was doing my MBA. And it's a beautiful book to have, and it is a nice book that all of you can pick up and read and understand what's going on in this country. Another book for people who are in marketing and wanting to specialize in marketing is to have a look at The Fortune at the Bottom of the Pyramid by C.K. Prahalad. It talks about opportunities in the market. It talks about opportunity at the bottom of the pyramid and how you can use those opportunities. It's a beautiful book and well recommended book. Also, a book that I really think all of you should read before going for an MBA is The Six Thinking Hats by Edward de Bono. This book actually talks about lateral thinking, and it's a very well recommended book for anybody doing an MBA program. Apart from that, there are also books like Straight from the Gut by Jack Welch. You have One Upon the Wall Street, Essays of Warren Buffett, which are all books that you can refer to and read if you're interested in the area of investment. If you are looking forward for entrepreneurship, you can look at The Lean Startup, and you can also look at The Goal, which is a recommended book by most of the B schools. This is just a few of the books or 10 books that I thought I would pick up to read if I'm going for an MBA program. You can pick this up and read, or probably pick up some other book which you find useful and you think that is going to help you while you're doing that MBA program. Number 5 is to learn the Excel and the PowerPoint. In all our B schools, we're going to work a lot with Excel sheets. You're going to make a PowerPoint presentation almost every day. Especially in Excel, I would want you to go through and understand all the functions which are there. You can probably look at the pivot table, the pivot charts, something like the VLOOKUP, horizontal as well as vertical both. Practice it out so that you find it, you know how to work with it and how useful it will become. Some of the functions like goal seek in your PowerPoint presentation, have a feel of how you can design the presentation, what are the kind of transitions that you can use, how does the animation come out, how to fix an animation. So these are all important things to work on and be very familiar with. I would also like to tell you that slideshows and smart objects are something that we use in PowerPoints quite often while we make good presentations, and it will be a good idea for all of you to spend a bit of time and learn and understand how the PowerPoint works in terms of the smart object as well as the slideshows. Typically in every college you have some functional clubs, you have some recreational clubs, you have some core committees, and you have some other committees, depends on the college. What are functional clubs? Functional clubs are clubs which are specifically oriented to functions. So you have a marketing club, you have a finance club or an IT club, you may have an operations club, you have strategy and consulting club or an entrepreneurship cell. Also for people who have hobbies and who are very involved with their hobbies, you can also check whether your college is offering you any kind of recreational club. Is there a photography club or a dramatics club or a theatre club? If it is there, then you can shortlist one of these clubs where you would like to join. Apart from these, colleges do have core committees where student members are involved in extremely significant work within the campus. And one of such committee is the placement committee, which all of you know. Similarly, you have a student council which addresses student issues, and then you also have an alumni committee. So similar to this, there may be many other committees in your college where you're going to join. Please have a good familiarity with these committees, clubs, because it's extremely helpful if you decide right now and get into the campus. The first 1 month where you will be allowed to get into these clubs and be a member of these clubs, it becomes really a tight, packed time where you're running around doing a lot of things. The other thing is, joining these clubs are not very easy because there are interviews which are conducted, especially for core committee. If you get prepared for these interviews right now itself, it will be easy for you to find a place within one of these committees. And let me tell you, these committees are extremely significant. So if you get into a placement committee, you can actually get into some of those top placements just because you're there as a part of that committee. A lot of other colleges also have these other committees which involves things like the social committee, the social club, the sports committee, or volunteering work, NGOs, part of national organizations like the Speak McKay or the TEDx, and any other club which is significant in that particular college. The more familiarity you have with these clubs, the better you will be equipped to decide what to join and what not to even look at, and which is very important in the first term, as I mentioned earlier. One more thing that I would like to add in this is club activity, and being a part of the club is extremely essential while you are in campus because that's a part of your campus life. And I would urge all of you to at least be a part of 2 clubs or committees so that you are involved within the campus and you work towards and contribute towards the college or the institution that you're studying in. And it's going to be a really great experience while you do that, and you're going to build relationships, you're going to meet faculty, and you're going to connect with faculty. If you're in clubs like the placement committee or committees like the alumni committee, you're also going to meet a lot of alumni from your campus and interact with them. So it's a very good experience to be a part of these clubs and committees, and I think all of you should definitely not ignore this opportunity while you are there in the campus. Task number 7, build a resume. When I'm saying build a resume, at least jot down all the key points that you would like to showcase in your resume. Draft a basic resume and keep it with you, because almost all colleges you will have a hand-holding session to create a resume before you go for your summer internship. Now, your summer internship starts off somewhere in the month of September, and that's pretty early. You would have just finished your first term, or you may be even within your first term when this summer internship starts off, and you may be really packed with work, and that's when you need to draft your resume. And it should not happen that you miss out points on your resume, because that may prove really costly. So draft your resume, a very basic one, keep it with you so that you're sure of what to put in your resume when time comes. Second, while in campus, you're going to create social media profiles. Most of the colleges will ask you to create a LinkedIn profile. So if you don't have social media profiles like the Twitter, the LinkedIn, the Facebook, this is the time to sit and create one. And this is important because I've seen a lot of students get back to campus and then start working on this. By that time, you have absolutely no network out there, and you are making your entire social profile from scratch. So it is better to work on it right now, and I'm sure the social media profiles are going to be of really big help. Now, why do I say that? I say that because in your campus, you're going to do a lot of surveys. You're going to work around with creating surveys, administering surveys, and all these networks actually come handy when you want survey responses. And while you're going about creating these surveys, it's a good idea right now to also understand how to make survey forms, probably through SurveyMonkey or through the Google Forms, so that you get used to making forms and administering that to people, looking at data and understanding how to use that data. Number 8, and this is something a lot of people have gotten back to me already. What online certifications and courses should I do? Now, see, certification and courses actually help you showcase an inclination towards a particular function when you're sitting for a summer placement. And because in a summer placement, there is nothing much to showcase, because what you have is your resume, what you have right now in hand. So if you add a few certifications, it will show some kind of an inclination. It will also help you in learning some of the things that you don't know right now. For example, accounting. So I put accounting there because if you don't know basic accounting, you can probably take an online certification. By doing so, you're going to go through some videos, you're going to go through some live classes, and that will make your accounting concepts much more clearer. But if that is not the case and you're using this for showing your inclination towards finance, then you can also get into some kind of certification for investments, for banking, in the area of probably risk management, which will all help you showcase an inclination towards that particular function. In the description area, I have put some links of certifications that you can do. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. So you can go through them and figure out for yourself as to what is more suitable for you as a person. Or if you're looking at making a really big impact, then you can do a major certification like an FRM, CFA, or a project management certification, or you can do even a information security audit certification. But I would say if you're not very keen to spend a lot of time studying right now, it will be a good idea to pick up some of these small certifications that you can find in various websites and then work on them rather than taking up a CFA or an FRM, which requires a lot more of hard work and a lot more intensive study. Number 9, start reading newspapers. At least a general newspaper like a Hindu, Times of India, or Hindustan Times, one of those business newspapers like the Economic Times, the Business Standard, or the Business Line. Definitely something that you're going to inculcate while you're doing your MBA program. You can start it off right now itself. That will make life a bit more easy because you're going to become a little bit more familiar with the newspapers. You're going to get used to these newspapers so that you don't have to spend that time to get used to the specific papers when you are there in the campus. I would also like you to start visiting some of these websites for getting some financial news, a little bit to know about your economy, what the country is doing right now, understanding the markets, the share market, the commodity markets. So moneycontrol.com is one such website that you can go through. You can go through CNBC, NDTV Profit, or Bloomberg. Start inculcating that habit right away. Now, building a network is possible sitting at home, and you can connect to your classmates. There are a lot of FB groups or probably WhatsApp groups that have been formed by your college students or seniors already. And I would want you to be an active part of these groups because you need to be known in the campus. And if you're known in the campus, it's a great advantage. So please start networking, understand who is going to be your classmates, who are your seniors. Some of the seniors would have gone and won some case study competitions. Please network with them, connect to them, try to build a rapport with them. If you're really interested in some kind of research later on in campus and want to work with a professor, start figuring out who's that professor with whom you would like to work with. See what work he has done, and it would help you also connect to the professor. You can shoot a mail to him and let him know your interest, and you can tell him that you're going to join the campus soon and you would really want to work with him. When we talk about networking, one thing that comes to my mind is my last year student Ashwin.
रायपुर IIM में सिलेक्शन के बाद अश्विन ग्लोबल वार्मिंग के प्रति लोगों को जागरूक करने के लिए चेन्नई से रायपुर 1172 किलोमीटर का सफर तय कर 10 दिनों के बाद आज रायपुर पहुंचे। अश्विन ने बताया कि साइकिलिंग के दौरान उन्हें सबसे ज्यादा परेशानी गर्मी की वजह से हुई।
Spread awareness about global warming and to also encourage people to start using e-cycling.
Ashwin, who joined IIM Raipur last year, cycled all the way from Chennai to Raipur. It was no easy task. It was about 1,000 kilometers that he cycled in the month of May. It was really hot, and a lot of people, when I was making videos of Ashwin, asked me, why are you promoting him, or what did he achieve out of all this? What did he achieve? He became famous in the campus. The moment he reached the campus in his cycle, everybody knew in IIM Raipur about Ashwin. He went on to be a part of the PlayScom. He went on to become the He went on to become a part of the sports committee. Ashwin could really make himself familiar with the entire group, although he did not know too many people out there, but people knew him, and that's what matters, right? And that's what happens when you're a part of the Facebook group or a WhatsApp group and you keep sharing your inputs. I'm not talking about spamming the group with a lot of forwards and stuff like that, but inputs, when I'm saying you're sharing your opinion, you're a part of discussions out there, which will all help you be a part of that group and people recognizing you to be an integral part of that group. And this does not require too much of effort, I'm sure. All of you can do it sitting at home, and it's spending a bit of time every day. Also, familiarization with your college is extremely important. This is a time when you can try to understand what are the specific competitions in which your students have taken part in, what are the timeline of these case studies, so that you can pick and choose some of the case studies that you want to be a part of and understand how to go about cracking these case studies by reading more about them. Similarly, some of these colleges have study abroad program or some other academic events which happen throughout the year. I would like you to get familiarized with it, especially if you have a study abroad program. It will be a good idea to figure out which colleges do they send students to, and where would you like to go while you are doing your study abroad program, and what will be required for that. Within your campus, there are a lot of other activity which may happen. Like for example, in SPGen you have the social internship happening. In IRMA you have a rural stint which you have to go for. In Narsing Monjee you need to work with an NGO. So some of these activities you need to be taking initiative while you are in campus to figure out which organization to be a part of, or where would you like to go. You can do that work right now. Probably you can even build a network within that organization so that you can let them know you're going for your MBA, or while the stint happens you would like to come back and join that particular organization. So small things that may be helping you to understand your college way better and get prepared for that college, and that is what familiarizing with the college, that's why familiarizing with the college is extremely important. I keep telling students that these are the 2 months that you should enjoy staying at home, eat good food, sleep well, take good rest, spend time with your hobby or interest. So the next 2 years are going to be really hectic for all of you, and you may miss your home. You may not be able to come back home, and you will be hardly getting any breaks. And even if you will be getting breaks for 5 days, 10 days, about a week's time. And that makes this break at home really important. 2 months, chill out at home. Don't overdo all the tasks that I've told you. Do little bit of stuff and let it all build up to give you that advantage when you reach the B school. I hope this session was useful for all of you. As I said, I'm going to put a lot of links out there in the description. Click on them and go through those websites and understand what you can use those websites for. If you have any other doubts, feel free to comment in the comment section. I'll be very happy to take your comment. You can even take my phone number. My number is 8144842221, and you can just message me on my WhatsApp. Please share this video and like this video. Subscribe to our channel. I'll be back with you. If you have any other requests, videos that you want me to put up, please mark that in the comment as well. I'll be happy to make those videos for you. So thank you very much for watching this video. We'll soon be back with another exciting video for all of you who are looking forward for doing an MBA.